How's it guys, this is Davey FPL and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. And now we have the return of the team selection. I've been waiting for this one for quite a while, and it kind of shows that FPL has officially relaunched because we are going over our teams. We'll be covering what transfers I'm going to be making as well as what chips I'll be using for this double game week 30 plus. We've got a lot to talk about, so let's get straight into the video. The first thing that I wanted to talk about is the return of the Deadline with Davey live streams. For those of you who have not joined a Deadline with Davey live stream before, the logistics behind it is it's going to be occurring 1 hour before the deadline. So that'll be Wednesday night or morning or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I'm not going to give you a time as there's a lot of viewers from around the world that watch these videos, so I don't want to confuse anyone. So the easiest way to know if I'm going live is just hit that notification bell next to the subscribe button and subscribe while you're at it, or just follow me on Twitter and have those tweets on notification as well, as I'll be posting when we go live. But it's going to be an hour before the deadline. It's going to be covering the final team selection. So there's a lot of ambiguity going around, a lot of press conferences and team news that still has to happen. So just stay tuned for that, for the final team selection and what chip we're going to be using. So hopefully I do see you there. So just a quick recap of where my team is currently. We are sitting at just below that 30k mark. Quite a nice position to be in, and I'm hoping that we can kind of continue this good form and those green arrows that we were in before the season kind of had its halt. But the chips that we still have are the bench boost, the free hit, and the second wildcard. We'll be talking about all three of these chips and kind of the strategy that I'll be using from now to the end of the season. I know we can't really plan these chip strategies out that much because there's a lot of concerns and things that could happen in the future, but I think that it's good to get kind of a little bit of an idea as it's going to impact game week 30 plus. So I'll be talking about two strategies that I'm thinking about. The first strategy is exactly the one that you probably have been expecting. It's going to be using the bench boost in game week 30. So I'm going to be using the 3 blocks that I used in the previous drafts a couple of days ago, as I think this is a really good way to spread out the fixtures. So there you see it, bench boost in game week 30 plus. It is a double game week. Always you like to use my kind of chips like the triple captain and the bench boost in those double game weeks. So that's exactly what I'll be doing, and then using the wild card in either game week 31 or game week 33. I don't want to use the wild card too late on in the season. That kind of negates the thing about the wild card. You want to use it when you want to change your team for a couple of upcoming fixtures, as that can really give you the most profit from it. And then using the free hit in game week 32. So game week 32 is not set in stone. The free hit's a nice chip. You can kind of use it whenever you want to. I just think that game week 32 is a really nice game week to use the free hit because Man City play Liverpool, and a lot of people own those players, so it can give you a nice step above the rest. Maybe you can put in a couple differentials that you want there and kind of get those teams that are quite differential, and that's the best use of the free hit because it's giving you the best advantage ever. But with the free hit, as I said, you can use them kind of whenever you want to. A couple of people like to use it in the last game week of the season because there's usually a lot of goals in that game week, and sometimes players are rested that we all kind of have. So that's kind of the first strategy that I'm thinking about, and the one that I'm leaning towards a little bit more just because of that bench boost, but it does have its disadvantages that we'll be going over in this video as well. So the second strategy is using the free hit in game week 30. So this has been quite a popular strategy for those people that don't necessarily have a second wildcard, and they've been making their transfers over this pandemic period and are perfectly happy with their squad currently. So what the free hit means is that you can use it in game week 30, and then you can get your squad that started game week 29 back for game week 31. There's been a lot of speculation and concerns about the free hit, and basically I wanted to clear this up. So no matter what transfers you made since the relaunch of FPL, those transfers will be negated if you do use the free hit. So you can't use this unlimited transfers, get a completely new squad, and then hit the free hit chip for this game week and think that those transfers are still going to take place in game week 31. That's not the case, so please don't do that. But the free hit is a nice chip if you are happy with your squad, and currently there are a couple of players that I think that could be staying in for game week 31, but we'll also be talking about that. So using the free hit in game week 30 then means using the wild card and the bench boost later on, and you know me, I always like to use that combination of the wild card and the bench boost. So I've kind of listed here 3 game weeks, game week 31, game week 32 and game week 33. I don't want to use the wild card too late on, as I said before, so I think this strategy kind of gives you a nice little combination of the two if you are happy with your current squad. So this is what I was talking about with my current squad. So if I was to see the squad that I currently have and look at the players that I would be keeping for game week 30 or think could stay for game week 30. It'll be Alexander-Arnold, O'Connell, Lascelles, De Bruyne, Diego Jota, Raul Jimenez, Alonso, and Saiz. So all these players could still fit in for game week 30, so that means I would be transferring all the others out, and if I was to use my free hit, I could get these players back. So I could get the players like Salah, Mane, Barnes. I could get all those players back. I have quite a lot of money in Salah and Mane, so that would be quite nice, but that also means that I would be having them back for Crystal Palace and then Man City. So those two fixtures aren't the best in the world, and I do think there are other options. The only kind of thing that's kind of hindering using the bench boost in game week 30 is the whole talk about value. Now, I don't want to be one of those people that gets bugged down by my value of my squad, but I do think it's an important facet of FPL, and I think that it's one that I've always used throughout my seasons of playing, and something that I always kind of focus on. But I think this might be one of those times, if it's going to be a year that I go away from the norm of my usual play, it's going to be the year that was plagued by a pandemic. So I think this year I am leaning a little bit more towards the bench boost and then just kind of negating that team value. And if I have to get Salah and Mane back late in the season, I'll just do it at a deficit. So this is the first draft I have for my bench boost. This is currently the draft that I'm sitting on, but there could be some changes in it. So this is a bench boost draft. You could use it as a free hit, as it is heavily focused at that double game week. So starting off in goal, we have Leno and Reina. Reina right now looks like he should be playing. I think Tom Heaton has been confirmed out for at least the next couple of weeks. So I think that Pepe Reina will be their number one choice. There are other players at Aston Villa and other goalkeepers that could play, but I think that it is Reina's spot to lose. And then we obviously have Leno, who's been in quite a lot of my drafts previously. I don't think Arsenal will be keeping a clean sheet against Man City, but I'm hoping that he gets a couple saves in there. The only other player that I would be looking at maybe is Henderson from Sheffield United, but I don't know if that triple up in defense, it's a high risk, high reward strategy, but I do think there could be some merit to some other Sheffield United out players, such as their midfielders and their forwards. Going into the defense, it's quite a cheap defense here, but I think that's just because Sheffield United offer a lot of value. So we've got Egan and O'Connell. I would like to upgrade those to the more attacking players like Basham and Stevens, but right now my budget couldn't allow me for that. We also have target here, Hanley and Saiz. So Saiz forms two players here that don't have a double game week. That's the likes of Raul Jimenez and Saiz. I just think that Wolves have a really nice fixture against West Ham, so I do think they could get me some points. The midfield is quite stacked. We have Pepe, Grealish, Fleck, De Bruyne and Mahrez. Opted for Mahrez over Sterling because he is cheaper. I think he's less of a risk, but I do think he's got some good returns this season, and he is a lot cheaper. So that's kind of why I've opted for him. Up front, we have Aubameyang and Aguero, accompanying the likes of the single game week player, Raul Jimenez. I think those are the two strikers you have to go for the double. I think they got the highest ceiling. I'm just hoping that they both get 90 minutes, as I think that's going to equal some FPL points. In terms of the bench, it's going to be Reina, Hanley, probably the likes of Saiz and Fleck. So you got to think to yourself, is that combination of four players enough for a bench boost? Right now, I'm sitting on the fence a little bit. The likes of Hanley, you don't even know if he's going to be starting. Target, I don't think they'll be keeping too many clean sheets there over at Aston Villa, but maybe the likes of Saiz and Fleck could get some returns for us. But it's not the best game week to kind of bench boost. I just think that because it's a double, we might as well just throw everything at it and just hope that we do get some points. The other options that could be reduced is the likes of Pepe. Now, I think this is just because he does have a double game week. No ways would I be looking at Nicolas Pepe if he didn't have a double. I just think that's one of the things with the whole double game week. We kind of get focused in on it, and I'm hoping that he does still return. But I think it's worth the risk. I think that Arsenal, I don't really have anything to lose. They might as well just go for this. Try get a higher spot than they currently have. I think that Nicolas Pepe and Aubameyang could be quite fruitful in these double game weeks. So the next draft I want to talk about is the likes of Alexander-Arnold. So I'm titling this the Alexander-Arnold draft because I know a lot of you do have him. He's the best FPL defender this season. He always can get a return no matter what the fixture is. So if you want to keep Alexander-Arnold, I would suggest this draft. This is more of the safer draft to go for. The reason being, Alexander-Arnold, high ownership, is performing quite well, but if you don't want to take a risk and still keep him, I would recommend this draft. The only player that has been downgraded here is Nicolas Pepe. I've opted for the likes of Harvey Barnes. And now Alexander-Arnold and Harvey Barnes have been producing consistent returns throughout this FPL season, so I do think that they're great options to have, and I could see myself using this draft going into game week 30. So this is the safer draft to go for, but I wanted to give you guys a draft that had Alexander-Arnold and didn't have that much intensity into that double game week as the other draft if you want to be a little bit safer. This does kind of increase your single game week players. Harvey Barnes still has a good fixture, but I don't think he has that higher ceiling as maybe a double game week player. But this is going to basically wrap up the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it, and hopefully you like it if you did. And subscribe if you're new or have not subscribed yet. As I said, I have not confirmed a chip. I am leaning towards the bench boost, but please don't make transfers yet. We still got a lot of team news, a lot of press conferences. There could be a lot of news happening from now till that game week 30 plus deadline. Otherwise, I'll see you in the deadline with Davey's stream. Thanks for watching. I'm going to be signing off. This has been Davey FPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.